going live. We were not here last week. Hopefully, you'll see us soon. I think it should be connecting any second now. Yep, there it is. Hello. Great to see so many folks already here. Teddy KGB says it's almost clobbering time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're there. It's happening. Happy Friday from Trevor and Christine and Bill Davies. Good to see you. And Marty in Ontario. Hello, everybody. A lot to discuss. We'll let folks get settled in and situated here, but we are here. Last night, we are still recovering from the wild party of last night. You get a bunch of middle-aged and elderly film critics together in a room, and anything could happen, especially when John Carpenter is there. It was
True.
our LA Film Critics Association annual awards dinner. And it was on a Thursday because of the fires, because we
Yes.
had to reschedule. It was supposed to have been what, like January 13th, like that second
Yeah,
weekend.
that second Saturday. Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you, Gage. Gage says, Christy, your hair looks amazing. This is last night's hair today.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there's the little brochure. Yes, our little program. It was a fun night. Not a lot of folks could come. I think because of the many time changes that we had,
Yeah.
and people have things to do.
And this is a stacked week of awardsy stuff. I think like today's Critics' Choice and the AFI luncheon, right? And then the
Saturday is PGA and DGA.
PGA and DGA, yeah. So it's a very people got packed calendars, so totally understood. But we did get some cool folks there, in addition to John Carpenter and his two presenters, Keith David and Dean Cundy.
Good stuff.
We also had Marion Jean Baptiste. We had Vera Drew. Sean Baker was there.
Jesse
So yeah,
Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg showed up to claim the two awards for Real Pain. So yeah, it was a lovely evening.
Yes, Nick was my date. My husband couldn't come because it's a weeknight and he had to work. And so Nick came with me and, showered and brushed his hair and stuff. And it was really fun. He was by far the youngest person in the room, but he had been my date before, and it was cool. He was really psyched to see Keith David. Like he went thinking that Kieran Culkin would be there because he likes
Right.
Kieran Culkin on Scott Pilgrim and Succession and wanted to meet him. And then he was not there, but Keith David was, and he lost his freaking mind because he does so much voice work that Nick likes. He is on a show called Has Been Hotel. If any of you guys know Has Been Hotel, he's on that. No, Sushi Cookie, Mikey was not there to accept. She sent a nice little video. That
She
was kind of a
did.
bummer.
Yeah, we had quite a few, we had some good videos from folks who couldn't make it. So yeah, it's always a fun evening to like see what it looks like when we all get dressed up, you know.
Yeah, we look nice sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Teddy says I think John Carpenter is on tour with a band. Is he?
Oh,
Maybe that'd be kind of cool.
that scans. Yeah, don't know anything about it. He didn't
Yeah, I
like
mean,
he didn't pass out flyers last night or anything, so how would we know?
he is a musician, as we know, though,
For sure, yes.
doing all his own scores. So
Scores.
yeah. And then the weird thing with this weekend is that the Producers Guild and the Directors Guild Awards are both on Saturday night. So we could get a whole lot of clarity about
Mm,
award season this weekend. They're usually different weekends, but because, again, the fires
fires,
closed that
yeah.
window of time to do stuff, and a lot of rescheduling had to occur. So, no, Micah, my best friend JLo was not there, not nominated for her many movies she was in last year.
But you know what? Next year she'll be up for Kiss the Spider Woman, so who can say?
Yeah, that's possible. So we have a lot of overlap with these movies that are nominated for both of these things, but I wonder, and we got to talk about Emilia Perez, of course, because so much
Oh
has
yeah.
last hung out together with Emilia Perez, and all of those old tweets resurfaced, and then
Mm,
Carla Sofia Gascon keeps talking and like making it worse, and now she's totally stopped talking, and
yes.
she's been pretty much scrubbed from Netflix's awards campaign.
Yeah.
And I read that they're not even like paying for her travel to things anymore.
Well, and apparently, like they're because she plays the title role, they're like not putting the title of the movie in
Yeah.
some of the for your consideration ads. It beats me. Do we know when Oscar ballots are due? I tried googling this and I couldn't find it.
I don't, but the Oscars are on March 2nd, and
I'm just
it's
wondering,
like pretty
like,
close to that usually, right?
yeah, yeah. I'm just like this stuff is happening and ballots are still out there, so it can still sort of affect how people vote, yeah, no, the Carly Sofia Gascon stuff has just gotten, yeah, it's gotten nuts out there, and apparently, like, she and Zoe Saldana have the same, like, PR firm, and Zoe
Oh.
Saldana's been like trying to sort of keep it classy out there. Yeah, I think one of the things that is going to happen with all of this is that if people were looking for an excuse not to vote for Emilia Perez in a lot of categories, like they have one now. Um, because I don't know, it's again a movie that I've never been able to understand like what the mainstream love for it is about. I don't know why people who don't embrace like movies that take big weird swings are embracing this one that does. So go figure.
Yeah, I wondered about that too. Did you watch I sent you the video of Trixie and Katya talking
I
about it.
I need to. I'm sure they have very insightful points to make. I've not seen it
They
yet though.
do. They're
Yeah, no,
so
no,
good.
they're great.
They're very astute cultural critics. They're funny as hell, but also
Yeah,
they have, really smart insights into pop culture.
yeah.
Um, so they get to something that I think is sort of fundamental about like this movie is bad. Why does everyone love it? And
Mm.
it's sort of an evolution that has taken place since it premiered what at
Can,
Cannes
yeah,
last summer, and those first audiences went wild for it,
yeah.
and it was revolutionary and like mixed all these genres, and it was like nothing anyone had seen previously in terms of it being a musical and taking a lot of chances. You and I in our review were impressed with like the risks that it took, but didn't think it worked. Like all
Hmm.
those elements didn't totally gel. And now, like everyone's dumping on it, whether it's the depiction of transgender people, the depiction of Mexicans, and now she's made it worse with her stuff. So I think if,
Right.
if people were looking for an opportunity to say, hey, this is a great statement we can make. More
Right.
liberal minded voters saying we
Sure.
can make a statement and now more than ever, when transgender people need support and visibility,
Right.
here's an opportunity for us to do that. And this makes it a lot more difficult.
Yeah, and but even on that level, it's like I get why. Okay, like supporting Brokeback Mountain is saying something about like queer visibility and queer rights in this country because it is a movie about discrimination. It's about people having to hide
Yeah.
and stuff. I don't see how like supporting uh Emilia Perez is like a way of saying, yes, we love you, trans people, especially when like a trans person didn't make it, and trans
Nope.
people, a lot of trans critics are not in favor of the film. So even on that level, as a like a gesture, it eludes me. So, I would say this is all very good news for Demi Moore.
I think so too. And her speech was so great at the Golden Globes.
Hmm.
And that's a story. They do like the narrative, and it's a
Yes,
story that everyone can get behind. Angel says that Carlos Sofia Gascon is not even attending the Goyas in Spain.
that is what I've read. Yeah.
That's really interesting. She's a Spanish actress.
Yeah. Look, at this point, I think, yeah, given we're definitely closing the barn door now, but I totally get her being like, okay, I'm not going places and I'm not talking to the press anymore and I'm not doing the stuff, but it's sort of like, well, here we are.
Yeah. Our friend Ed Looney mentions, meanwhile, I saw the TV Glow exists.
Thank you. Yes.
Those are
And
very different
people,
movies, but yes.
yeah, and the People's Joker and In the Summers and all kinds of, other, the Carnage for Christmas, like, something else. Come on.
Yes, Vera Drew gave one of the best speeches of the night last night at our
Yes.
LA Film Critics dinner. She's just hilarious,
Yeah.
and that was cool meeting her. She's really funny. Very creative woman. So
That was a
um,
highlight of the night.
for sure. So yeah, so we'll of course keep you posted. If Amelia Perez at this point, leading up to this, was the front runner,
Mhm.
um, do you think it is something else now? And if it is something else, what is it? Is it the Brutalist? Is
Golly.
it like my friend Rod Lurie said, like, I think a complete unknown is going to win, he said, because it will get enough second place ballots and everyone likes it. And it appeals to a boomer element, which is still a big chunk of the voting
Right.
populace.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't think like I can tell you what it won't be. Like, I don't think it's gonna be, Conclave. I don't think it's gonna be Dune Part 2. Um, you know,
Anora.
Nora probably not. Yeah, it's I need the list in front of me here. It's not going to be Nickel Boys because
No.
people just aren't, I think, seeing that movie. Um, probably won't be I'm Still Here as much
But
as
that'll probably, well, maybe, I don't know. That's a really good chance of winning international.
International, absolutely, and I mean, like, I get, and if Carlos Sofia Gascon has taken herself off the map, then like that can only help Fernanda Torres. But again, I think that's we're looking at Demi Moore. Um, yeah, I mean, like, I don't see like Wicked or The Substance or so. I mean, yeah, I mean, of all of these, I could see, yeah, Brutalist or Complete Unknown. I think maybe have the sort of mix of prestige and people really digging it to kind of maybe get their way in there. Maybe I'm so bad at picking this stuff, y'all. Never really.
Yeah.
We're doing a whole Oscar picks episode. Do not make me your guide for your office pool because that will be the road to ruin.
But Glenn Whipp can be because he's the awards
Yes.
expert at the LA Times, and he will be here when we do our Oscar picks live stream, and that's the Tuesday before the Oscars. So I
Yeah.
think it's like February 25th.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's who you trust.
Yes. Teddy, thank you so much for your kind contribution and for your
Thank you.
question. Teddy asks, Christy, have you tried any of Tom Holland's non-alcoholic brews? Well, that's funny that you should mention non-alcoholic beer because I'm enjoying the latest from Athletic Brewing Company. Quick little mention here. I'm an ambassador for them. This is their Black History Month beer. It's called Soul Sour. It is fruity and flavorful. I never thought I was a sour girl, but this stuff is awesome. It is so tasty and it raises money for a couple of good nonprofits. So if that interests you at all, try it. It's there this month. Things like this usually tend to sell out when they do little limited edition beers. So maybe give it a try. I've got a link below, and Christy L20 gets you 20% off. So that's all down below if you want to try that. I have not tried Tom Holland's non-alcoholic brews, but I love that he is also sober. So I'm curious to do that.
Does he
Thank you
do
for
a
that.
cherry?
Oh, that's good. I like that. That's really funny. Is it like in Spider-Man colors? Yeah, we'll
No,
find
no.
out.
Remember that shitty movie Cherry that he
Yes.
made? Yeah.
Well, that was him trying to differentiate
Expand,
himself
yes.
from the
Ooh.
wholesome Peter Parker image.
And not that he can't, but not in that vehicle.
That
Yeah.
was one of those Russo brothers Netflix movies.
Or Apple TV or something. Yeah.
Yes, I think you're right. Stephen Turner, thanks to you for your kind
Thank
contribution.
you.
Stephen says, my real question is, does Ariana get a winning boost now that Zoe gets dragged down? Critics' Choice won't be telling the voting closed before. I mean, does Zoe Saldana get like residual blowback from this? I don't know. Can you look at her performance in and of itself and separate it from all the other Michigas? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I see a pathway where she emerges unscathed from this because I think that I don't think that Gascon was ever really necessarily a front runner in the actress category. But I think Saldana is very cannily playing the PR game right. And so I could see her not being affected by this. So I would imagine she's probably still the front runner.
Victor has a funny joke about Tom Holland's brewing history is uncharted. Nicely done.
There we go.
I like that. So yeah, we will keep talking about this. And our good friend Danny's here. Danny says Fernanda Torres is this year's Anthony Hopkins, winning a surge of last minute support the way Hopkins did for the father. She's so great. I mean, if it's any indication from our review of I'm Still Here, I mean, there's so much excitement in Brazil. I mean,
For
and all over
sure.
the world, I think. It's doing crazy numbers for us, unlike most international films that we review. And that's been true, I think, of every channel that has reviewed I'm Still Here. Like the numbers are like
Yeah.
tens of thousands more than people usually get. And there's a lot of enthusiasm because it's up for picture and actress and international film. Also, I guess Carnival is going on in Brazil at the same time as the Oscars. And so it's like there's already a party atmosphere and everyone is psyched about this.
And it's already broken 1 million at the US box office, which is not an easy thing for a lot of international films to do for subtitled films. So that's definitely a point in its favor that it's getting a mainstream audience as well as just like awards folks. I was going to say something and now I forgot what it was.
I don't know, but I was going to mention that Jonathan Winchell says Saldana is really the lead. So maybe people will vote with her in mind instead of Carlos Sevilla Gascon. I mean,
True. Oh no, I remember what it was now. I
yeah.
think that the thing with Ariana also is like what we had talked about with Dune, that everybody knows there's another one coming. So I
Yeah,
like
that's true.
they could wait for Wicked for Good to come out and honor possibly both Cynthia Erivo and Ariana
Yeah.
Grande for their sort of collective work on both films.
Our friend Marty says that he has booked I'm Still Here for his film society this winter. That is
Nice.
great. I think your folks are really going to enjoy it and find it quite moving.
Yeah.
So all that's happening. We will follow all of that. Also, movies are coming out this summer. Perhaps you have heard of big summer movies like Jurassic World Rebirth and The Fantastic Four First Steps. Trailers for both of those came out this past week. Alonzo, I know that you watched neither of them.
Correct. I did not even know we were getting another Jurassic World movie. I thought we had finally stuck a fork in that one, but oh
Nope.
no, there's more. Is this because of the Super Bowl? Is that why trailers are coming out? Because the big ads
Yeah,
are coming?
maybe that probably is why those sorts of things happen.
Okay.
It's 6 months out, 5 months out, time to get the hype
Yeah.
going. This new one, Jurassic World Rebirth, Gareth Edwards directed it, which kind of gives me some hope because he did that 2014 Godzilla.
Yeah, which I didn't care for.
But I think he's got a good sense of like scale,
Scale. Yeah. No, I mean, I know
enormity.
he did that like he did that indie film Monster before that, right? Wasn't that what it was called?
Oh, yes, and so,
Yeah.
I think it could be good. I mean, like, freaking Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali are in this movie. Jonathan Bailey's in this movie.
Yeah, no, look, all of that is good. I just, I mean, the absence of Chris Pratt helps. I'll give you that. But I don't know. I kind of feel like all of the Jurassic sequels sort of are, pardon the expression, chasing the dragon. Like
Ah,
after that first movie, they've all been sort of a letdown. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
well, David Koepp is back to write the script. He wrote
Okay.
the first 2 original Jurassic
Right.
Park movies, and I guess Spielberg picked Gareth Edwards to direct based on Godzilla,
Okay.
and I think they want to get away from what a debacle Jurassic World Dominion was a couple of years back. This takes place 5 years after that movie, so it's kind of a reset.
Okay. All right.
I don't
Look,
know.
I go
We'll
into
see. We'll
everything
see.
hoping for the best.
Yes.
As for the Fantastic Four, this is now what, the fourth time they've tried to do this, if we count the Roger Corman one. Um,
Oh.
so, good luck, everybody. That's one of those properties that has thus far really kind of resisted, adaptation. I hope that they understand that it's a family comedy. I don't mean family in terms of family friendly, but I mean like it's a comedy about a family getting on each other's nerves. That's what the comics were always about, and that's what made them successful.
That is what this trailer looks like. That
Okay.
they're all kind of giving each other a hard time. You're gonna love the look of this
All right.
because it has that like retro chic '60s retro
Oh, like
futurism.
space age kind of. All right.
Totally.
Okay. Okay.
I know that you like that. We
Sure.
like everybody in it. Is Eben Moss Backrack and Pedro Pascal and Joseph Quinn and I'm blanking on her name.
Mm,
The blonde, and she's got big eyes, and she was in a Mission Impossible movie. She's
uh,
nominated for an Oscar. I don't want to look at IMDb.
oh, Rebecca Ferguson? No.
No, blonde, wavy hair. She's
Uh,
British. Vanessa Kirby. Thank
Vanessa
you.
Kirby.
Thank you,
Okay.
Stephen, for bail. I knew one of our people would bail me out. Rory says that Pedro Pascal is miscast. What say you as a Fantastic Four aficionado?
I don't know. I mean, look, I think Pedro Pascal contains multitude. So if he's going to play, like a stuffy brainiac, I would buy it from him. I'm not the biggest Vanessa Kirby fan in the world, but oh, and Julia Garner is the Silver Surfer. Okay, sure, why not?
It could
And
be fun.
the supporting cast includes Paul Walter Hauser, John Malkovich.
Oh.
Okay.
Anyway, that is
What?
July 25th. So those trailers are out. Yes, Christine mentioned going back to Jurassic World for a sec, like that Jonathan Bailey in his nerd glasses explaining stuff is like lighting the internet on fire. Yeah, from the trailer, it looks like he exists solely for exposition because he's like the dinosaur scientist who's come along to explain things. That's fine.
Sure, why not? It's a gig. The director of the Fantastic Four movies done a lot of TV that either you or both of us have watched. He's done Succession, The Great,
Mm.
WandaVision, and Welcome to Chippendales.
Who was the director?
Matt Shackman.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So okay,
Yeah. Anyway, we will review all these things
of
when they
course.
come out. We had a question somewhere up here. I think it was from T Love Hater. Who are we rooting for in the Super Bowl? Alonzo, who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl?
My cheese dip.
Let's talk about that cheese dip. What do you put in it?
It's pretty straight up. I do the Velveeta and the Rotel, and then my one sort of schmancy thing is I like to go to Huntington Meats over at the farmers market at Third and Fairfax. They do a very nice chorizo, and I cut it out of the casing and fry it up, and then put in the Rotel, and then melt the Velveeta, and boom,
That
yeah,
sounds nice.
Tostito serve with Tostitos scoops.
So easy. That's why
Yeah.
they call them scoops. You just scoop and it
Hmm.
sits right there. Do you have friends coming over? Do you have a party plan or just you guys?
Probably just us.
That sounds
I'm
nice.
not gonna make a ton of the dip, obviously. But yeah, we chill out, and then generally we'll watch the halftime, and then usually watch like we once spent an entire Super Bowl Sunday watching a 5-hour movie from the guy who directed Drive My Car called Happy Hour, which was great. It was a fun way to spend the day.
Reese K.
Ryusuke Gucci, yeah, I
Hamaguchi.
believe so. What
I
about you?
so
What do you
but
got going on?
well before the game, I'm
Uh,
gonna take Nick to see Parasite in IMAX.
Fun.
Yes, it's playing at 12:45, and we talked about this, I think, a couple weeks ago. If you go to imax.com/parasite, it's
Yes.
got a 1-week run in honor of its the 5-year anniversary of it winning Best Picture, which was
Hmm.
historic.
Yep.
So I have not seen it since it came out, and Nick's never seen it, and he's old enough now, and just to watch it in IMAX sounds cool.
Sure.
So I'm gonna take him to go see that, and then a couple different friends have parties. So I'll probably go to one for a little bit and then one for another little bit and try not to miss the halftime show in between. Try to go at like the end of the second quarter.
Right.
I don't
Time it
want to
out
miss the
just
halftime
so.
show. Kendrick Lamar and SZA. It's a big week for Kendrick Lamar, having won all
Yeah.
those Grammys. Somewhere up here, I missed it.
And
Matthew
SZA is
asked,
great in one of them days.
she's so funny. Yes. So that'll be a fun performance. Okay. So Matthew asked, he mentioned that we reviewed um, the Seed of the Sacred Fig and I'm Still Here this week. What would I like to see of those? When international film, gosh, that's tough because The Girl with the Needle is in there too. And that's
Yeah.
like those, they're all excellent. Like I'd be happy if any of those won. I think Flo will win animated
Yeah.
and so that is fine for that. I don't think Flow should win international.
And Flow drops on Max next Friday, by the way. I just sent you a press release about that.
Oh, great. Well,
So
we have been meaning to catch up with it
yeah,
anyway. So
if you haven't seen it, it's going to be airing on HBO next weekend. It's going to drop on Max next Friday. And somebody last night was telling me that we had to watch Memoir of a Snail too. So
yes, we have gotten requests for that. So we
okay,
should do that.
I'll say this.
Good.
I would be equally happy to see I'm Still Here or Seed of the Sacred Fig win the international Oscar or Girl with the Needle for that matter. But it would be an awesome moment if Seed of the Sacred Fig won because Mohammed Rasoloff making a speech on international television as an exiled Iranian filmmaker would be a pretty unforgettable moment. He was at the LAFCA dinner last night, which I was shocked. I didn't
Me too.
know. I just assumed he was like hiding out in Berlin or something, but he's apparently here in town, like doing the award stuff, and he cannot go home after making
Yeah.
this movie. So having that moment on that big global TV platform would be pretty exciting.
That's a really great point. And it's so deserving. It's
Yeah,
excellent. Like they're all, except for Emilia Perez, they're all
yeah,
deserving. They're all really good. So I would be happy with any of those three
for sure.
if they won. David says, Christy, could you please read my questions in the chat? I don't have money for super chat. I don't know. You keep asking, can I read your questions? Okay, now he's saying, have you seen A Complete Unknown yet? And what's your number for it? Alonzo, you have seen A Complete Unknown.
I have seen A Complete Unknown. Well, my number would be like a 7.7. I think it's it's well put together. I think Chalamet's performance is great, and I admire him taking on the doing the singing. I think that adds an extra element to it. It it doesn't go super deep, and that's kind of the point, I think. Like as Dave was pointing out, it's appropriately titled because by the end of the film, we don't really know that much more about Dylan than we did walking in. Like the movie doesn't try to explain him in any way, doesn't try to sort of like psychoanalyze him. And maybe the fact that he's alive is like, well, we're not gonna, we're just gonna kind of keep it vague. But I think that's mostly to the film's benefit. So yeah, I liked it. I like the period detail a lot. The
Yeah.
supporting performances are great. I think Elle Fanning, they did her dirty. She also should have been nominated alongside the other two,
Monica
supporting
Barbaro.
and Ned Norton. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think the fact that he's still enigmatic is the point, and a lot of reviews are like, "We don't come to understand him anymore." It's like, "You're not supposed to, and that's the point."
sure. Yeah, no, no, no. I mean, I believe me. That's a feature, not a bug. I'm
Yes.
not. Don't get me wrong. But
And they don't try to soften him or redeem him. At one point, Joan Baez goes, "You know what, Bob? You're kind of an asshole." And he's like, "Yeah."
yeah, I was telling Dave. I said it's nice to see a man of genius movie where they acknowledge that the man of genius is frequently a prick.
Yes. Gage asked a couple times, "Are you reviewing Heart Eyes?" Funny story, Gage. We're
yeah,
not.
not today anyway. No, I
Okay.
talked about this. So at Film Verdict, my gig is I do one big wide release a week. And this week it was like, well, do I do Hard Eyes or do I do Love Hurts? And the Hard Eyes trailer I thought looked kind of dumb. I did see it before some movie that I went to. And Love Hurts like, oh, Ki Hui Kwan and Ariana DeBose, and it's like going to be like Nobody. And yeah, that's going to be the one. And I picked the wrong one. Apparently, everyone says Hard Eyes is really fun, so I hope we have a chance to catch up with it at some point.
Yes, we should. I hear it's great. And so we do have a review of Love Hurts,
Yeah, we do.
and that'll be out later on. So we will have that for you for
Stop in the
sure.
name of love.
Sorry, yes. Okay, so speaking of amazing performances, Beyonce has announced her Cowboy Carter tour
Okay.
beginning April 28th in LA. She's doing 5 nights at SoFi. And so that is sort of a big deal.
Is she
She
going to do
won
another
album of the
documentary?
That's a good question. Yeah, I do wonder. I love the whole thing about the scaffolding. That sticks with me.
but the several versions of the staging, yeah, that was so
the
cool.
the 3 trucks that are going on, like, one is at the concert, one is setting up the next concert, one is driving to a whole another concert. Like, I thought that was fascinating. I learned a lot about monitors and anyway, it was cool. So yeah, that is coming out this summer. And then here's something else, more scandals to talk about. First, I'm gonna get to Teddy's question. Thank you very much, Teddy. Teddy says, "What do you think about Netflix dumping the 9-hour Prince documentary? I love Prince and I'm sad." I don't know anything about this.
Oh, I that's the thing I was texting you about last night. The Ezra
Oh,
Edelman, who I believe made OJ Made in America, right? Isn't that who Ezra Edelman is?
yes.
Made a 9-hour documentary about Prince for Netflix, interviewed like everybody you would want to have interviewed. And then
Wendy and Lisa.
exactly. And then apparently the estate decided that they were going to do something else entirely and that they have agreed with
Oh.
Netflix that the whole thing is going to be shelved. Like we're not going to get to see it now at all, and it's just like, oh, god damn it. Because I'm sure it'd be great, and I'm sure it would be like an affectionate but also like multi-dimensional portrait, and I'm sure the estate is like, ah, fuck that, we just want more gloss. Whoever it was in our of our listeners who coined the term glossumentary, I love it,
Yeah.
I'm using it. I believe it was Renee.
Yeah, it was
um
Renee. Good call. Yeah.
yeah, that's absolutely what we get so much of. I just watched the Liza one, which is fun, but it's a
Oh.
glossumentary. And so yeah, so I'm really annoyed about this Prince thing. You just have to hope that one of these days, like decades from now, when more people are dead or something, like we get to see that and Batgirl and Coyote versus Acme and all these other movies that are just being like taken away from us.
Well, I just wonder, how does it get that far? How does it get that far that he makes a 9-hour film and then they
And
say,
then
"Oops,
they
sorry,
decide,
no"? Like, how did they
yeah.
not know along the way what it was going to be about? He's not making it in secret if he's talking to everybody Prince has ever known.
Sure, yeah, and also like, how do you? I think what we're going to be seeing after this period is filmmakers like literally just having it in their contract, like you can't decide you're going to shelve this movie at the 11th hour. Like I insist that like written into the contract is going to
Yeah.
be like that it streams or that it plays in theaters or something, because like if it's going to be a thing now where the corporation or the estate or the whoever can decide, nah, we're not going to do that. Like no director wants to spend however many years of their lives working on this stuff only to be told like, oh yeah, no, we've decided we're going to take the tax break instead.
And he's a serious filmmaker, Oscar-winning
Yes.
filmmaker.
Yes.
He's not some random person who's gonna like go take a torch to somebody's legacy.
Absolutely.
He's considerate.
Yeah.
Yikes, it's a bummer. A couple things I want to get to. Miss Tree is asking, Christy, do you have an opinion on the nude Grammys moment? I'm guessing that you are referring to Kanye's, is she his wife?
I believe so. His consort. I don't really know.
Yes. Alonzo, did you see what she was wearing or not wearing?
Yes, I did, and it look for an evening that is look at me as the Grammys are, particularly the Grammys red carpet to like to win at look at me, takes some doing, and she did it.
You know, she has an amazing body. She looks incredible. It felt like she was being put literally on display,
Yeah.
like for consumption. Like it felt kind of gross to me. Like he's parading her out there, like, look at what belongs to me.
Yeah, but like, and the thing is, that's not even the worst thing Kanye did or said this week.
That's true. He did write something totally stupid in all caps.
Yeah.
And also with weird too, with this new person is like from like the neck up, she's totally Kim Kardashian. Like the
Mm,
way that Kanye remade Kim Kardashian,
right.
he's just done that to her. And so it feels sad, like she's being
It can't possibly
manipulated.
matter to you.
Yeah. I mean, I guess she's into this for some reason, but it feels, I don't know,
Vertigo.
exploitative and sad and just anyway, it's weird. Yes, Susanna, we talked about Emilia Perez on the top. So come on back to the beginning of it and please check that out. John Possum wants to know why I don't have a straw. It's because I'm drinking a non alcoholic Athletic Brewing Company beer. This is not water today. This is my beer. And I'm classy.
Very. Let it be said.
No more beer through a straw for me. We're not in college anymore.
Unless you have the hat that has the beer can holders on the side.
That is tasteful. Yes, Teddy points out what you just said too. Vertigo vibes. Yeah, with
Yeah.
recreating that same look. Couple more things. Okay. Oh, the thing I was going to get into, I got sidetracked. Another Simple Favor is coming out. This is the sequel to A Simple Favor,
Yes.
a movie, Alonzo, that you and I love. It's going to premiere on opening night at South by Southwest this March in Austin. It reunites Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively with Paul Feig.
Yes.
Everyone's back. This is a movie that we would have been psyched about ordinarily, but now because every day there's some new Blake Lively lawsuit news, I can only imagine that is going to completely hijack what should be a very exciting and welcoming day for them in Austin.
I am sure that they are, like she's going to be doing the carpet. She will look stunning on the carpet. She will not take questions on the carpet. And I'm sure that Anna Kendrick will be out there doing press and Paul Feig will be out there doing press. And they're going to be all like, you know what? I didn't work on that movie. I don't know shit. I'm not talking about it. My relationship with her has been nothing but professional and wonderful.
Yeah. So, I don't need a crisis PR firm to represent me for this film. So that's going to premiere at South by Southwest in March before going straight to streaming on Prime Video on May 1st, which is, what happened with this Reese Witherspoon, Will Ferrell movie, a movie that ordinarily you would see in a theater, a comedy with gigantic stars. This too is going straight to Prime.
It also happened with the Roadhouse remake, which also premiered at South by Southwest.
Yeah, so that's a formula that's working for them. That movie did so well that there's already going to be a sequel.
Oh, really?
With Jake Gyllenhaal and another Roadhouse. So there is that. We'll review Another Simple Favor when it comes out for sure, because I love the first one so much, and I think about that movie all the time. But let's talk about the latest lawsuit. Every day there is some new scandal involving It Ends With Us and Justin Baldoni and his team of publicists, and Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and their team. And there's lawsuits back and forth and hundreds of millions of dollars and a giant New York Times story that explained all of this. Now, the crisis PR firm owner has sued Blake Lively for defamation.
Now, this
right?
wasn't her PR firm, right? It's his PR firm that
This is Justin Baldoni's crisis PR firm. This is a guy named Jed Wallace. And so when you see the name Jed in various texts and emails between the women at the firm planting all these stories, this is who they're referring to. But he is saying that when she sued him or put his firm out there on blast and all of this, that she defamed him, and so now is suing her, like countersuing. Anyway,
who's got the murder board that can even keep up with all of this? It is, there's just such a flood of litigation and statements and accusations. And again, it's like at first to me, it seemed like he was like Baldoni was flooding the zone, and Baldoni was sort of like trying to kind of change the subject and put things on her. And maybe that's still what's happening. Maybe it's not what's happening. I don't even know at this point. And I guess that's the point. At some point, the amount of litigation reaches a level where most people are just like, yeah, whatever. And it's all going to be resolved like 3 years from now, quietly in, what's the word I want here? Not litigation, in
settlement,
mediation. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
And then we never hear about it again because everyone is forbidden from talking about it. So I don't even know anymore. Like I thought I knew. I thought after that New York Times piece, it was like, okay, well then clearly he did this and she. But now it's just like I don't even know, and I don't care.
But you gotta care.
Do I?
Things keep happening.
Must
it's your job.
Oh God!
It's your responsibility as a cultural arbiter to care.
I feel bad for the people who are like on the legal beat who have to actually follow this, because like I don't have a bulletin board with enough note cards to try and keep like a timeline and figure out like who's got more suits pending at the moment. Like it's just it's all too much.
Yes, they have both done things to each other at this point, and there is nobody who is blameless, and there's nobody to root for, and it's
no
all
one
bad.
walks away clean.
Yeah, I saw some comments on one of our earlier live streams, like you're clearly Team Blake, or you're clearly Team Justin, and like no. There's nobody to root for here.
Yeah. I'm team shut up and go away at this point.
Yeah. Kevin says, I don't think it helps either one of them. It doesn't. You're right. Cause like there's this movie that she should be, celebrating being able to talk about.
Yeah.
In a place like South by Southwest, which is so welcoming for Paul Feig.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I went to the Bridesmaids premiere there. It was a love-in.
I was there that year too. Did we hang out?
I don't think so. God, that was.
I don't know.
So
I did a Q&A. I know. I did a Q&A with Barry Mendel, who's a producer on that film, and Christine Vachon and Jason Blum.
Nice.
I did like a producers panel that I like moderated a panel with them.
I was
Bridesmaids.
I was covering for movies.com.
Oh, it was a blast from the past.
Yeah.
Punk Ron, thank you for your kind donation. Punk Ron says, hey, happy Friday. Are you going to review Heart Eyes? I'm hearing it's the best V-Day horror movie since My Bloody Valentine. No, unfortunately, we did Love Hurts this week.
Yeah, we picked the wrong Valentine.
But we will hopefully catch up with it because we hear it's great. Tomorrow, Alonzo, you and I are going to go see Paddington in Peru.
Yeah.
Woo-woo. So that's tomorrow morning. And then Sunday, I'm going to go see Parasite in IMAX. And so at some point, maybe we can squeeze in a matinee of Hard Eyes and catch up with that.
And by the way, we will not be recording anything on Tuesday, but on Wednesday, we are dropping early reviews of Paddington in Peru and Captain America Brave New World to help you plan out your Valentine's Day weekend movie plans.
Yeah, so we're gonna have early reviews of both of those. So keep an eye out for those on Tuesday. I don't know if maybe you can squeeze in a Hard Eyes by Tuesday, but for sure on Wednesday we can do Captain America and Paddington in Peru, and then also the latest Bridget Jones movie comes out that day on Peacock.
I think it drops on Thursday.
Oh, right, Thursday. Yeah, the 13th.
Yeah.
Like it's a really busy like time. Can you have a Bridget Jones and a Paddington at the same time? Is that allowed?
Well, as long as they're not in the same room.
It just seems very confusing. Like the same kind of
So,
audience. I guess Paddington's for everyone, right?
it's right. That's right. But yeah, it is a lot of British charm.
Yeah, so we're excited about. Are you guys excited about either of these movies? Any of these movies? It's a really, really packed weekend. And then there's something called The Gorge, which I literally just heard about this past week because it's on the Film Week list.
Yeah, I thought it was a TV show. Like I knew it was a thing that was on Apple TV, but like I did not know that it was a feature film.
Yeah, and it's like Anya Taylor-Joy and Miles Teller on
Eh,
Apple TV.
go figure.
I've heard nothing about it, but I might have to watch it anyway. So busy times. We're so glad that you are here with us. Thank you for hanging out. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy whatever dip it is that you make. And then also, we will have another update very soon about our fundraising. I'm going
Yes.
to donate some money later on today after I do this to the Entertainment Community Fund based on all the wonderful contributions that you guys have shared with us. So thank you so much for that. So look for that on Instagram, and also I'll post about it on our community page because we want to make sure that you know that we are indeed taking your money and turning it back around again for good
Yes,
stuff.
we totally are.
All right, so thanks everyone.
All right. Thanks for watching, you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Always lovely to see everybody, and have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.